Learning to do press-ons is easy as 1, 2, 3. You just prep your tips, you paint your color, and you seal it. And so Kerri is starting out for the first time, and she's going to show you how it's done. All right, yes. So Terry, you've got your... Terry, I just called you Terry.
Okay.
I don't know your name.
That's okay.
I don't know your name. Kerri. All right, you've got your tips here. One of them you've already started doing your filing on. Okay, so you're gonna grab the other set. Yes. You got your sizes that fit. Now you're gonna take your tips and you're gonna file off, show the camera that little nub that's on the tip of them. So you've got this tiny little nub a lot of times that comes from molding the blanks. There we go, that's what I was looking for. So we want to remove this. Some people do it after they're done their nails. I don't recommend that. I always think that's not going to turn out as nice. So you're going to want to prep your tips first by filing those little nubbies off and making sure they're shaped the way that you want them to be.
And I am no professional.
No, that's why we're learning.
Yes.
And I wouldn't recommend that file.
No.
Only because that one's going to be harder. It's got like more bumps on it.
Yeah.
Here, this is one we've already used, but that one's a softer file, and it's going to smooth those edges out easier. The other file is coarser, and so it's a lot bumpier. So it's like bumping along as it's trying to file it nicely for you. So it won't be as nice and smooth.
You're right, because I used that file for this set.
And you can feel it. It's like kind of like sawing it up, right? As opposed to smoothing it out nice. Yes. So that's a coarser grit. This one is much finer. So these ones don't have numbers on them, so I can't say exactly, but I want to guess. Let me see.
God. It is so much better.
Oh yeah, it's a big difference. Yeah,
not that
the proper file.
I totally believed you.
No, yeah.
I just actually can't believe how much
proper file. Like, of course, you could get away with it with the other one. It's going to work, but it's not going to be as easy or as smooth or as nice.
No.
So the same as sandpaper. So if you know anything about sandpaper grits, the higher the number, the finer the grit, the smoother and softer it is. So now that you're all nicely filed, they're covered in filing dust. So you're going to want to take some alcohol and put it onto some kind of a lint-free wipe, and you're going to want to remove all that dust. The other thing you can do first, sorry, my fault, is you can take a nice fluffy brush and just fluff away the dust to start. There we go. And then finish it off by really removing and cleaning them really nice.
I got to take them off on my one.
So yeah, they're hard on the stands. They like wiggle around and stuff. So yeah, wipe them down really good and get rid of any dusty stuff that's on them. All right, so now we're going in with tip prep, and you're going to put that on each nail, and you're basically just going to scrub it into the nail. What this does is it's just a much faster way than taking a sanding block and sanding the nails. So just rubby, rubby, scrubby, scrubby.
Rubby, rubby.
And this is basically like a mixture of some kind of chemicals, like, I don't know, I'm sure there's something similar to acetone, because acetone eats into the plastic.
And I can see how it's roughing it up.
Yeah, do you see? It's giving it like little striation. It just gives something for the gel polish to hang on to, right? Because gel polish will notoriously slide off of a smooth plastic tip. And so then it's easy to chip off and stuff like that, because if you're having issues with your polish chipping off of either your press-ons or your nails of any kind, it's probably because the surface isn't rough. It's just like when you do your regular nails, you know how we sand them first?
Yeah.
Not sand, that's the wrong word. Buff them.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, when we buff your nails first, it's so that it's got something to hang on to, because our nails, if they haven't had anything on them, they turn kind of like smooth and glossy, and it's a much harder surface for it to stick on. So same as doing a renovation project, if you're doing something, you sand it first, and then it gives you all the little grooves for stuff to stick in. So that's what we do here. So your next step then is you're using a primer. And what this one does is it adds a sticky layer. So it's like sticky double-sided tape. I see you're having a hard time opening it. It is so sticky. It even sticks itself closed.
All right.
And I have them in these little bottle holder things because they notoriously tip over. I'm always tipping them over. So, and so when you're using this primer, you're trying not to load it on. So you're just doing like a quick swipe over everything. You want to make sure you're getting the whole nail, but you don't want to like go overdoing it, coating it. Yeah, you just want a nice, quick, even swipe over it all. All right, so your tips are all filed and prepped and primed, and they are ready to go. And it is time to go in there with polish. We do not need a base coat because we are not doing real people nails. We have already done all the preparation that needs to be done with the primer and the tip prep. So because it's a nail blank, you can
Yes.
avoid the base coat. But you're going to put on
yes.
gloves because we want to be safe and we want to make sure that we don't start developing a gel chemical allergy. And so no matter how clean and tidy, please wear gloves. Please avoid getting a gel polish allergy.
Right.
So now that and you could probably even make sure you do it before handling any of the chemicals, but most specifically before handling polish. So yeah, now you're gonna go in, straight up polish.
All right. I love this color. I'm so excited for this. It's so pretty.
So what you're gonna wanna do to start out is, especially because you're using a really heavily packed glitter, you're gonna open it up and you're just gonna very gently swirl it around in there to mix it. Don't be shaking your bottle. Don't be, putting it in a mixer. Don't be whipping around like crazy. Gentle mix, yeah. So now you're distributing all those glitters and all of that nice and evenly. And after giving it just a little mix there, you're gonna pick up your nails and you're gonna start to polish those bitches.
Okay.
And there's really no rhyme or reason. You do it however you want. You just try and make sure that you're in the camera. So get over here. There we go. And you're going to, just make sure that you cover over the edges. So you're going to want to make sure that you're going over the tip and over the cuticle line so that later it looks nice and clean, because people often forget to paint all the way over the edges. And then they get like a line around.
Yeah.
And it's quite noticeable. And also, you're going to want to go in and seal around those edges,
I am
too.
so awkward.
It is
There we
awkward.
go.
Don't you even worry. Even myself, after years, I still find it awkward getting the tips on and off and the magnets, and it just is.
It just is.
But move your polish to the other side.
The other side.
Yep.
Right.
That'll make it easier for you.
Right.
One step.
Yes.
Yep.
Just gonna kitty corner
Yep.
that.
And move the other one out of the way if it's in the way. And
Yeah.
So as you do them, you'll just get used to like placements and what works easier for you. And, it's just a learning curve. I would just do it flat on. Yeah. Like that.
Oh, okay.
Right? But if it works for you
No, I understand.
just find if you turn your brush sideways, it's likely to get polish underneath as well, right?
Yeah, that
Which
makes
isn't
sense.
a big deal. But if you're getting it underneath on the cuticle line, then you might find afterwards that it's kind of in the way of your glue and you're going to have to remove it out of there, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah, all the way over your edges on all the way around.
No, I didn't do all the way around.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
And again, this is just perfectionism at play here, guys. You really, you can just slap it on there and not even worry about it. But you see what you're doing right now?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. You have to go with a whole nother swipe, because if you just dab in certain spots and then put it down and be done with it, those spots are going to be higher than the other ones. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So you can add your extra polish in those little certain spots, but then make sure and go all the way over all of it again. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
And it'll smooth all of it to one level, right?
Yes.
There you go. And okay, so put that down.
Yep.
And look at the tips of your finger.
Oh, I got all over my gloves, eh?
Look at that, right? So there you go. Now, maybe you wouldn't have gotten that polish on you if you weren't wearing a glove, but chances are you would have gotten some polish on you even without the gloves, right? Because sometimes the gloves, and that's one thing you're finding right now, the gloves are making it a bit more awkward for you, are they not?
Yep, a little bit.
So you will adjust to that. It is a learning curve. It takes a bit, but after a few sets, and hey, if you've never done press-ons before, then you're starting from scratch anyway, right? So definitely wear those gloves and definitely get used to that feeling. Even if it's weird and difficult in the start, you will find as you go, it becomes second nature. You don't even notice it. You'll feel naked without them, right? Yeah. Do you have something woogie?
Yep.
Yeah. So have a piece of lint-free wipe somewhere so that, you can get rid of funky woogies and stuff if they're there. And unlike me, if you're starting out and you don't have a gel allergy, you don't have to wear the thickest gloves around. You can wear a standard glove and it's going to protect you because you're not going to be constantly getting polish on yourself like I did. It's that repetitious, polish on you, polish on you, polish on you, that after time, now you have an allergy.
Yeah.
So-
I don't want to.
You don't want that. No, it's a nightmare. It's made my life a living hell. Okay, so you're all painted.
Do you put it in
you're all
here?
painted, so you're going to pop those babies into the lamp and cure them.
Now,
Perfect.
would you put another coat on those?
I always do 2 coats.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is complete preference, right? For me, it's again, I suffer from severe perfectionism, which is not a good thing, folks. It is very damaging and creates no end of issues. It does not mean that the things I make are perfect. It means I can never stop trying to change things. So for me, I will always do a second coat, even if it's a 1-coat finish, unless I'm doing it for an art purpose. But if I'm doing it just as a base layer, like just a color, I will always do a second coat, because then you are going to, if there's any imperfections, if there's any spots that are a little thinner, it's just gonna like finish it much nicer. And if you missed something in the first round, you'll be sure to manage it in the second, right? So
I think that sounds like a plan.
Yeah, for me, it's always about that second coat. Yep, and you can always look at it and see, and like when you go in and do touch-ups, if you forget to smooth coat the whole thing again, then again, that's where your second layer is really going to help out, because it will cover things better.
And the type of sparkle that this is, it's also a real good cover for imperfections. You're not going to see too much imperfection.
Thick, heavy glitter polishes like this are a great way to start, because they really do like cover it nicely, and they make it way easier to not have noticeable mistakes. Even if they're there, you can't really see them. Okay, so your polished bottle. Yeah. So when you put your bottle, put it in there. Put your brush back in the bottle. There we go. I'm trying to get the words out. Okay, we got your brush back in the bottle. Now, when you're pulling out your brush, all right?
Yes.
So do a heavy swipe. Yeah, on the one side, okay? And then chances are you usually should have kind of like a perfect amount of polish there to use, right? So you may need to go back in and use another swipe, but by doing that one heavy swipe on the one side, you end up with a lot less globbing. You have better control of the polish. It's not all over the place. And then you have like one side with no polish for smoothing and one side heavier polish for laying it down. It kind of makes sense.
Yes, it does.
It's a very small nail to show you on, but okay. So we got our polish and we're swiping off one side. Oops, I don't have much on there. I think I've used this one a lot. And you start to get a feel for how much polish you do or don't need. We're doing a pinky, so I don't need quite as much. So, okay. So when I start my nails, and guys, these stands are a pain in the ass. As you can see, this little pinky nail is like way smaller than the stand itself. So what's going to happen is we're going to have all kinds of stuff over the edge that we're going to have to get rid of. So I should have given you the little guys again, but it's a learning curve. So what I do when I paint, just my easier way, is I take my starter and I go like from the middle and I go down. And I go like from the middle and I go down. And then I swipe around the edge. And then I swipe around the edge. And now all my edges have coatings. Or if I see white still, like I go back in. There we go. And now I go and coat to like smooth it all out, right? So that I don't have blobs here, blobs there. But I put my blobs kind of thing first. And then I've got, coverage everywhere, and then smooth it all out. And then typically, I can't see because it's far away from my eyes, but I'm hoping that it's done. I'm like, look how nice that is. And I can't even see it. I have no idea what it looks like. Does it look all done?
Yeah, here.
Yeah. Oh, and then the other thing that I was going to say about is there's something called a line of light. Now, your angle is completely different than mine. So what happens...
I can see the line of light.
Here, I'm going to show you on this nail because it's a bit bigger, and I saw a glitter blob. So I don't think this was from you. I don't know if you can see it. I think it's a chunk of glitter. There's a sticky outy chunk here. So... Oh, you know what? That sticky outy chunk is not the glitter. It's the stand. It's the piece of glue under the stand, the sticker under the stand. Okay, but here, I'll show you something. If I were to blob it. There's my blob, right? I didn't smooth it out nicely. Now, do you have a nice straight line of light? Your line of light goes wiggle, 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 wiggle.
Yeah, it's like, it has like a curve in it and stuff.
So that is how you test how smooth. If it's for yourself, again, not a big deal. If you're doing this for a client, right, you want to make sure they have a nice smooth finish. So you go in there and you smooth it out. And then if you're not sure what your deal is, again, folks, sorry, I'm doing this from way far away. So I can't really see. And I'm hoping that now my line of light is nice and straight. Yeah, I'm seeing my line of light too. So now you know you have a smooth surface. And the reason I'm like, there's something there, even though it's far away, is I can see the break in the line of light. Do you see that? You see that little thing there? And it wasn't you or the polish. It's because that sticky thing underneath has caught on it. And it's causing a little bump there. And so it's messing with the line of light. All right, so now you're going in with your second layer of polish. And this one you want to be a lot more observant and careful of to make sure that all of your little finishing bits are done. Or if you don't care how they look, you just blob it on and do whatever you like. Like, none of it has to be perfect. These are just tips for getting a cleaner look on your nails. And it just takes practice. It's just, you know, the more you paint, the more you get used to the steps and, you know, how to go about it. All right, so now that your nails are all pretty and cured, they're almost done, just not quite done. So next you have to do a top coat. Without a top coat, they're not properly sealed and they are very likely to chip, especially with glitters, because glitters have lots of little bits in them that make them chip easier. So now, do you have any nails that you have like stuff over the edges?
Yes, that's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, you're looking at that. Take your nails and fix them now. But because they haven't touched the top of the nail, you'll feel they're sticky, right?
Yeah.
That's called the inhibition layer, okay? And that's on the majority of gels, unless they're a no wipe. So most gels are going to have that sticky inhibition layer, and that's to help it stick to the next layer. So your top coat is the only one that doesn't have that sticky inhibition layer because that's the final coat, right? So at this point, you could take them off the stands, you could trim them, you could file them, but then you're going to have to clean them all really good to make sure there's no crud left behind, and then go in and top coat.
Okay.
The little nails are going to have, it's because, and it's not your fault, the stand is way too big for the tiny little nail that's inside. And you happen to have really tiny nails. So for people that have like large sizes for their nails, they might not run into this with a thicker stand, but you can get much tinier stands, which we should have set you up with first, that have a way smaller base on them. And then you can put pinkies and stuff like that on them way easier. So yeah, you can go in and just trim the real major excess off if you want, or you can just go in with a file and do all of it by file, whatever works better for you. Once it's finished,
all right, good.
Put it on there so that when we put the top coat on, you're not going to have the same kind of issue, right? Because if we leave them on those big stands and you put your top coat on, you may end up with your top coat running over the edge too. You know what I mean? Like it's, especially when you're starting out, it's really hard to, because I still do it to this day, and I've painted billions of nails and I still get it over the edge and have to clean it up. So, and that's one of the reasons I switched from using these stands, because they're too thick for little nails. Filing will create that rough surface again so that the top coat will stick to it. So you want to file around your edge. Yep, wherever your funkiness was. And for me, when I do, and because filing dust will fall onto your stuff, you want to make sure, that they're all set aside from it.
How do you grasp these little nails?
I know, that teeny tiny little pinky. I know, it's not easy.
I did it.
It's not easy.
Not gonna lie, I'm a little sloppy.
And again, you don't even have to take that part out. If it's in the tip, it don't matter.
I don't think I can get to it.
Yeah.
So I'm not,
if it's in the tip, you can just leave it. If it's in the cuticle where you got to attach it to your nail, then you need to take it out, because it could affect how your nail stays on, right? But on the tip part, it don't matter, because people aren't likely to see underneath your nails anyway.
Sure.
Yeah, try holding your nail that way and angling here. Yep. And angle inside a little bit. Yeah, there you go. And then the outside edge, as opposed to going that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go with the nail instead of against the nail, if that makes sense. Like with the nail growth instead of sideways. It is hard when it gets, when you're trying, especially your nails are so tiny. Okay, so if you don't need to do filing or anything on the other ones, and grab that, hit yourself with some alcohol. And then just give them a wipe. Yeah, and you remember you want it to be the sides especially, because that's where you did all your filing, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to just over the top. Now they're super nice and clean, and you've used alcohol, you've wiped them all down. Now you can top coat.
All right. Oh.
Filed those edges, which broke the seal for the polish. So your focus is on making sure those edges are nice and sealed up. And then of course, smoothing it all out so it's all nice and smooth. So there's your beautiful first set of press-ons. How easy was that?
Very easy.
Right?
It was pretty easy, yes.
It's pretty easy. There's not a whole lot to it. Anybody can do it. So
no, it was good.
Get out there and start making all the press-ons you can possibly make. And so then you'll have lots of nails to wear anytime you want to wear them. There you go. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for Kerri for helping out.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And stay tuned for the next video. We'll try doing something new and different, like maybe magnet polish. I'm thinking magnet polish. We'll learn how to use some magnet polish.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, thanks. And what do I always say? Thanks so much for being here, guys. I truly appreciate it. Of course, until next time, don't forget to love your nails. Bye.
Bye.